Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I would like to talk about teaching method for foreign or second language. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Devi Wanda Safitri and my name 31801800011 and my class is E1. Okay, let's start. Before we talk about what are the teaching method for foreign and second language, I will give you information about what happened in 20th century trend or a brief survey. In this century, language teaching methodology facilitated between two types of approaches. What are they? The first, getting learners to use a language for speak and understand, and then the second, getting learners to analyze a language to learn its grammatical rules. And then before 20th century, there are 17th century between 1631 and 1658. In this century, the most famous teacher language and methodologist name is Johann Amos. He published his book, and in his book there are techniques how to learn or teaching method for foreign and second language. And what are they? The first, use imitation instead of rules to teach a language. The second, have your students repeat after you. And then 3, use a limited vocabulary initially. And 4, help your students practice reading and speaking. And the 5, teach language through pictures to make it meaningful. And before we talk about what happened in the 19th century, you have to know about 3. What are they? Approach, method, and technique. I will explain you one by one. What is approach? Approach to language teaching is something that reflects a certain model or research paradigm, a theory if you like. And what is a method? Method is a set of procedures or system how to teach, and methods are typically compatible with one or sometimes two approaches. And what is technique? Technique is a classroom device or activity. Okay. What happened in the 19th century? In the 19th century, when you want teaching about methodology for foreign or second language, there are 9 approaches where you have to know. And what are they? The first, grammar translation approach, direct approach, reading approach, audiolingualism, oral situational, cognitive, affective humanistic, comprehension based, and the last, communicative. But in this video, I will not discuss about all the approach, but I will discuss about 3 approach. What is that? What are they? The first, I will discuss about grammar translation approach. Grammar translation approach. What is that? Grammar translation approach is an approach that helps students learn grammatical rules and then apply those rules by translating sentences between the target language and the native language. And there are 7 the key features how to Now about this approach, the first is the first instruction is given in the native language of the student. 2. There is little use of the target language for communication. 3. Focus in on grammatical parsing. 4. There is early reading of difficult texts. 5. A typical exercise is to translate sentences from the target language into the mother tongue. 6. The result of this approach is usually an inability on the part of the student to use the language for communication. And the last 7. The teacher does not have to be able to speak the target language. And another key, grammar translation approach also have advantages and disadvantages. I will tell you what are they. Advantages from grammar translation approach are easiest for teachers to use, does not require teachers to speak good English or make good lesson preparation, only uses the textbook, less stressful for student teaching occurs in the first language, and then students learn the new language without contact with native speaker. And what the disadvantages from grammar translation approach, I will tell you. Disadvantages from this approach are students like comprehension only translating word for word, does not allow students to create meaning in English. Students do not learn to read, extensive memorization, and the last, very little students or teacher and students interaction. And this is about grammar translation approach. And move, we will discuss about direct approach. Okay, I will explain you what is that. Direct approach is this approach was developed initially as a reaction to the grammar translation approach in an attempt to integrate more use of the target in interaction. And same with grammar translation approach, direct approach also have the key features, and there are 7 key features in the direct approach. What are they? I will tell you. The key features in the direct approach are no one use of the mother tongue is permitted. 2. Lesson begins with dialogues and anecdotes in modern conversational style. 3. Actions and pictures are used to make meaning clear. 4. Grammar is learned inductively. 5. Literary texts are read for pleasure and are not analyzed grammatically. And 6. The target culture is also taught individually. And 7. The teacher must be native speaker or have native proficiency in the target language. And in the direct language, there are typical techniques for this approach. What are they? I will tell you. Reading aloud, question and answer exercise, student self-correction, conversation practice, fill in the blank exercise, dictation, and paragraph writing. This technique makes students more known about direct approach. And the next approach, there is a reading approach. I will tell you. Reading approach is one of methods that can be used by teachers focused on their reading skills. It will help students to solve their problems in reading. And reading becomes important because it is an active skill which involves inference, guessing, predicting, and etc. By reading, students will know about the tenses, kinds of tenses, and how to use it. They also will know about the difference of culture by reading cross-cultural understanding. And reading approach also have the key feature. There are 5 the key features in reading approach. What are they? 1. Only the grammar useful for reading comprehension is taught. 2. Vocabulary is controlled at first and then expanded. 3. Translation is once more a respectable classroom procedure. 4. Reading comprehension is the only language skill emphasized. And the last 5, the teacher does not need to have a good oral proficiency in the target language. And there are 2 types of reading approach. It's skimming and scanning. I will explain you what is skimming. It is used quickly identify the main idea of text. Skimming is done at a speed 3 to 4 times faster than normal reading. People often skim when they have lots of material to read in a limited amount of time. And scanning, what is scanning? Scanning is a technique that is often used when looking specific information. The student search for key words or ideas. Scanning involves moving eyes quickly through the page seeking specific words and phrases. And the last, I will discuss about multilingualism. What is that? It's a method used in teaching foreign languages, applied to language instruction and often within the context of the language lab. It means that the instructor would present the correct model of a sentence and the student would have to repeat it. There are 9 the key features from multilingualism. 1. A lesson began with dialogue. 2. Mimicry and memorization are used based on the assumption the language is a habit formation. 3. Grammatical structures are sequenced and rules are taught inductively. 4. Skills are sequenced, include listening, speaking, reading, and reading postponed. 5. Pronunciation is stressed from the beginning. 6. Vocabulary is severely limited in the initial stage. 7. A great effort is made to prevent learners' errors. 8. Language is often manipulated without regard to meaning or context. And the last 9. The teacher must be proficient only in the structure, vocabulary, and the teacher is teaching science learning activities and materials are carefully controlled. And there are methods from how to teaching method for foreign or second language, and you can use the all method. It's up to you. But in this section video, I just discussed about 4 methods. And thank you so much for watching and thanks for your attention. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.